Hey, Shadow Keepers, it's B here. I know it's been a while. 2 months is a long time to go quiet, especially in a world where the shadows never really sleep. And I wanted to take a moment to speak directly to you about where we've been. First, let me say this clearly. We didn't disappear. Shadow Keepers isn't going anywhere. Life just happened. Over the past couple of months, both Lee and I were dealing with some very real, very heavy things behind the scenes. There were personal losses, unexpected tragedies, and moments where our focus had to be on healing, on family, and on simply getting through the days. And as much as this podcast means to us, and it truly does, we weren't in the right space to give you the stories, the energy, and the care the Shadow Keepers deserves. But even though the episodes weren't being released, we still kept recording, which means something special. Now that we're back, you're not just getting a new episode, you're being transported straight back into the Christmas holiday season. Ghost stories by winter fire, dark legends wrapped in snow, the eerie magic of the longest nights of the year. Episodes we've recorded during the holidays. Before we do that, though, I wanted to give an important content warning. This upcoming episode includes stories involving children, and some of the subject matter may be disturbing or emotionally difficult to listen to. Please take care of yourselves. Listen at your own pace, and feel free to skip this episode if you feel it might be too hard to listen to. Your well-being always comes first. So thank you, truly, for your patience and your support, and for staying with us even when the feed went quiet. We're back, and the shadows have been waiting.
Welcome back to Shadow Keepers, where we pry open the darker corners of human history until something inside decides to look back. I'm Lee.
And I'm B. Tonight we're dragging Christmas straight out of the Hallmark aisle and into the shadows. Forget cozy lights and peppermint smiles. These are the stories no one wants playing in the background while they open Christmas gifts.
December loves to dress itself up in joy, but history has receipts. Some of the darkest crimes ever recorded happen under Christmas lights, turning celebrations into tragedies.
Our first case is exactly that. No ghosts, no legends, just brutal human darkness. We're starting in California with the Covina Christmas Massacre, a night where rage put on a Santa suit and tore an entire family apart.
But the second case, that one drifts into colder territory, the kind where the dead don't stay quiet. Because in North Carolina, the Lawson Family Murders didn't end with the gunshots. Locals swear the land still remembers.
People have reported footsteps where no one walks, voices near the old homestead, and strange activity around the Lawson grave. For nearly a century, these stories return every winter, just like the tragedy itself.
2 Christmases, one ruled by human cruelty, and the other by whispers from the other side.
Tonight, we're stepping into both. Picture this, Covina, California, Christmas Eve 2008. A house full of family, kids running around with new toys, wrapping paper everywhere, people laughing, plates stacked with tamales and arroz con pollo.
A normal, warm, chaotic Latino Christmas. And outside, it's quiet, peaceful, until a knock at the door at about 11:30 p.m.
Now, usually, someone showing up in a Santa suit on Christmas Eve is adorable, maybe even legendary.
This Santa? No. This Santa is rancid energy. This Santa is the villain origin story for every mall elf from 2009 forward.
The man at the door is Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, the ex-husband of one of the family members. Recent divorce, financial issues, a whole resentment casserole bubbling in his chest.
And he shows up dressed as Santa. Red suit, black boots, the beard, the whole nightmare kit.
He's holding a giant Christmas gift box, except it isn't a gift.
Inside, a homemade flamethrower. Like, who does that? Who wakes up and says, you know what I need? A DIY fire cannon.
People who get too invested in divorce court, apparently.
The door opens, the family sees Santa, and the kids run toward him.
That part always gets me. Kids saw Santa and sprinted. A reminder that humans don't deserve children because kids see magic in everything.
Except Bruce wasn't there for magic. He pulls out a 9mm semi-automatic handgun and starts shooting.
Inside a holiday living room, Christmas lights blinking, a tree in the corner, a nativity scene 2 feet away. It's a collision of festive and horrifying that just punches you in the chest.
People are scrambling, diving behind couches, trying to shield kids. Some escape out windows, some hide in bedrooms, but Bruce isn't finished.
He opened that present and pulled out the flamethrower device, spraying the house with a stream of high-pressure gasoline.
The house erupts, a full inferno. Roof collapses. Everything good in that home gets swallowed by fire in minutes.
9 people die, multiple family generations erased in one night.
Christmas Eve becomes a crime scene that even investigators couldn't walk into for hours because the heat was so intense it welded objects to the floor.
Now, here's the part that twists your stomach. Bruce didn't just snap, he planned this. Lists, blueprints, supplies. He withdrew thousands of dollars. He bought the Santa suit himself.
A Santa suit full of cash literally melted into his body after. Dark irony, right? The man burned money into himself like a cursed wallet spell.
His motive? Divorce, financial ruin, bitterness, and this delusion that he was the victim.
Classic. Ruin everyone's life because yours didn't go the way you scripted.
You'd think people would pick therapy instead of flamethrowers just once. But no, human tradition, choose violence.
Bruce leaves the burning house and drives to his brother's home, where he dies by suicide hours later.
Investigators find multiple weapons, a getaway plan, and the remains of that Santa suit with melted money fused into it.
Even the suit was like, you know what, I'm done.
Survivors describe the moment the door opened and Santa walked in as something they will never forget.
One girl, 8 years old, was shot in the face but survived. A little child who lived through seeing Santa become a monster.
This case hits different because holidays amplify everything: love, pain, loneliness, resentment. If you're unstable, Christmas is like lighting a match in a gas room.
And the symbolism? Santa shows up as death. It flips the entire holiday mythos on its head. Joy becomes fear, magic becomes menace.
This is why human beings create the most chilling folklore, usually from real events.
Here's something people don't always talk about. The house burned so hot that there wasn't much left. Fire investigators said it felt like the house didn't just burn, it consumed.
And you know, families always report paranormal activity after tragedies like this: shadows moving, dreams of people calling their names, random Christmas bells jingling when no one's touching them.
There's a theory that mass trauma imprints itself into a space, like emotional radiation.
A haunting, but made of grief instead of ghosts.
No. So apparently the house burned down and a new house was built on top of it, but there is no hauntings recorded by anybody. So
Survivors talking about like him coming in, especially with the Santa suit.
yeah, I think I read somewhere that said that the heat, the fire in the house was like 1,500 degrees.
There was an explosion. Fire had left Pardo with third-degree burns on his arms and legs after setting the house on fire. Pardo changed out of the Santa suit and drove to his brother's house, where he was later found dead from self-inflicted gunshot wound to the mouth at around 3 a.m. His brother was not present in the home at the time of his death. The medical examiner found that cocaine was in his system at the time of the attack and his death. Pardo's rental car, parked 1 block from his brother's house, contained remnants of the Santa suit, booby-trapped, so that moving the suit would trigger a fire and set off 200 rounds of ammunition. Later, when police went to Pardo's house, they also found what was described as a virtual bomb-making factory in his home. In addition to 3 injured victims, the 9 deceased victims include Sylvia, age 43, who is his ex-wife, his mother-in-law, his father-in-law, his brother-in-law, his sister-in-law, another brother-in-law, another sister-in-law, another sister-in-law, and his nephew. Okay, so I don't get, though, what was the point of the money? I know he had financial issues, and I know that was one of the reasons for the divorce, but he strapped money to himself and the Santa suit, but then he didn't keep the money. He left it in the Santa suit and then booby-trapped the Santa suit to explode, which means he didn't want the money to begin with, and then killed himself. So what was the point of having the money if you were just going to die anyway? Because you can't take the money to the afterlife. This ain't
Well,
Egypt.
maybe that's what he thought. Like, I can't take the money, so I'm going to make sure nobody can have it because he already planned that he was going to kill as much people as he can in her family and himself.
You're a fucking
So
idiot.
that's what I'm thinking.
I don't get it.
People are insane.
Or I don't get how people can, like, kill their kids. I don't get people who kill their partners either, but, sometimes they irk the crap out of you, like, I wanted to, murk Tony this morning, but he's still here, okay? It's called self-control. It's called I love my life more
It
than I
is.
wanna go to jail, and there is another day. To actually go above and beyond and actually do it, whatever. But then why you
Well,
going there for your
if
kids?
those are
You
the
going to
reasons.
jail anyway. Sometimes I can understand it. Sometimes. When you been with
Like,
somebody
sometimes I understand it,
for too
yes.
damn long, it's like, you
Yeah,
know what? You getting on my nerves on a whole other level today. But, you move on. I probably get on his nerves too.
exactly.
But, like, I just don't get taken it to a whole other level like that. I don't get how and then also a place of children, like, they didn't choose this life
They're innocent and they can't speak up for themselves or protect themselves.
until they grow up and then they become assholes. But then, like, until then, you don't know what their
Yeah.
future holds.
Mhm.
But no, I don't get, like, what kind of and I guess they said, like, he was on cocaine. I've never done drugs, so, like, I don't know how that affects you mentally. So I don't know if what you're thinking or what you're seeing or experiencing when you're on drugs, do you not think it's real? Do you think what you're doing is not real? Is that why then I guess maybe once the high wore off and he killed himself because you just realize the magnitude of what you did?
Mhm.
You just traumatized a whole bunch of children coming in like Santa Claus.
Well, but he probably knew they were gonna open the door for him. They
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have opened the door if he was just his regular self.
Honest to God, it's Spanish people having a party. The door probably wasn't even locked.
Yeah, maybe.
He coulda just straight up walked up in there. But to use that and I think I remember because I remember this story, and I think they said, like, a lot of the family members actually had already left, so there would have been more victims. A whole family annihilator. Go annihilate yourself. Like that, you killed yourself anyway, so what you do all that other stuff for?
Yeah, you should have just done that in the first place.
People don't make no damn sense. If you was gonna kill yourself anyway, why didn't you start with that first? Then everybody would've had nobody would be traumatized by Santa Claus, probably can't even go to the mall during Christmas time.
Yeah.
God forbid. And Hallmark starts Christmas in frickin' October. I'm not a Christmas person, except when it comes to decorate. I like to decorate, but other than that, I don't wanna watch a Christmas movie. I don't wanna hear a Christmas song.
I haven't even decorated.
Listen, like I said, Tony tried to get me to do it November 1st, and he tried to tell me it's too late to decorate now, the weekend after, Thanksgiving. If you don't get out of here.
That's when I was supposed to do it, and still not done.
So, now it's decorated, but I'm like, I don't wanna hear no Christmas movie. I hate Hallmark during Christmas. I also hate Hallmark and Christmas in July, like and now it's in June. It's too much. Anyway,
Okay, now this one is a true crime haunting and disturbing enough that even locals avoid the story around the holidays.
the Lawson Family Murders of 1929.
We're in Stokes County, North Carolina. The father, Charlie Lawson, was a tobacco farmer. Wife Fanny, 7 children. Money was tight, stress was constant. The oldest son, Arthur, was 17.
But right before Christmas, Charlie did something strange. He took the whole family into town and bought them new clothes, expensive ones,
And he had a professional portrait taken, which people didn't do unless it was a major occasion.
or a farewell.
Just days later, he killed his wife and 6 of their 7 children. Only Arthur survived because Charlie sent him into town on an errand right before the murders began.
The crime scene details were shocking even to experienced deputies. Charlie staged the bodies after he killed them. He folded his daughters' arms across their chests and placed stones under their heads, as if giving them makeshift pillows.
The detail always hits me, killing them, then arranging them gently, like cruelty and care welded together.
There were rumors Charlie had suffered a head injury months earlier, which some neighbors said changed his behavior drastically.
And years later, relatives claimed incest may have been involved, especially that Charlie had impregnated his oldest daughter, Marie. This came from Marie's aunt and cousin in interviews decades later. It was never legally proven, but it's a real documented allegation that shaped the ghost stories that followed.
What came after the murders is where the paranormal starts creeping in.
The house wasn't torn down right away. For years, it sat abandoned. And that's when people started hearing things.
Neighbors reported children crying inside the empty building. One farmer swore he heard 2 girls calling for their mother.
Others said they saw a young girl at one of the upstairs windows, pale face, dark eyes, staring out, even though the house was locked and empty.
A traveling salesman reported hearing footsteps inside when he tried to get shelter on the porch. When he backed away, the steps followed him across the floorboards, even though the house was dark.
And one of the earliest recorded accounts came from a local boy in the 1930s. He claimed he saw Marie, the oldest daughter, on the porch, wearing the same dress from the family portrait. She vanished when he blinked.
The graveyard became a hotspot too. The entire family is buried in a single plot, all 8 victims plus Charlie.
Visitors have reported cold spots even in the middle of summer, and many said they felt someone brush past them or tug lightly at their clothes.
Hunters walking through the woods near the old homestead reported hearing whispers. One man said he heard a woman sobbing, and when he got closer, the sound stopped instantly, like someone flipped a switch.
And then there's December. Activity reportedly spikes around Christmas every year.
There is a documented story from the 1970s. A local man visited the grave on Christmas Eve. He said he heard a child humming, Silent Night, behind him. No children around, no houses close enough for sounds to carry. He left immediately.
Another witness, interviewed by the Stokes County Historical Society, said she visited the grave in the 1990s and heard what sounded like 2 girls giggling behind the tombstone. When she turned around, the air went ice cold.
At the old Lawson exhibit at the Madison Dry Goods Store, which houses artifacts from the case, visitors have reported toys moving, cold drafts, and the feeling of someone small tugging on their shirt. The store owner has spoken publicly about footsteps upstairs when no one is there.
People believe the family is reliving their last Christmas, like the day loops, replaying itself in pieces. Footsteps, crying, humming, giggles, not full-bodied ghosts, but fragments.
And it lines up with a lot of winter ghost lore. December has always been considered a returning time, when long nights let old tragedies bleed back together.
These hauntings aren't just spirits, they're anniversaries.
And the Lawson tragedy left a wound deep enough that the energy never healed. There are some that saying that there's a theory that alleges that this was an attempted cover-up of ancestral abuse. The Lawson Family Murders also became a popular dark tourism site, also inspired several songs and stories.
I mean, that does make sense. If he had a brain injury and it completely changed his personality, it would make sense where he would turn into that type of person if he was never that person and commit those crimes. Like
Well,
you change your mind, so you probably don't see your daughter as your daughter like you did, depending on what the brain injury was.
yeah, but it doesn't say that that happened before, that happened after the brain
Yeah,
injury.
yeah, that's true
He
too.
changed, but that doesn't mean that that particular thing happened
Yeah, because
after
he
the
could
brain
have
injury.
been doing that before as well.
Why
Or I
he
wonder if it's true, if she got pregnant, that's what led him to just, take
she
out the
was
whole family.
17, so,
Yeah.
could be, like, she could have gotten pregnant. Like, it's not like she was, like, younger where, like, that
Mhm.
would have been a possibility. Her being 17, that could be a thing. I just don't understand why he let Arthur live, and their youngest
Or
was only
maybe
4 months.
because he was older. How old was he again?
19.
If because he was 19, he probably thought that he would fight back or try to protect his family, and he wouldn't be able to carry out what he wanted to do with him around. I mean, he's a young man, so he
That's
might be stronger than his father.
that might be true only because all the other older children were girls,
Mhm.
and the next boy would have been James, who was 4,
Yeah.
and then Raymond, who was 2, and then you had Mary Lou, who was 4 months.
Yeah, so sending him away, like, prevented him from helping his family.
On the afternoon of December 25th, he shot his daughters, Carrie and Mabel, first as they were leaving to go to their uncle and aunt's house, and shot them with a 12-gauge shotgun. And then to make sure they were dead, he bludgeoned them.
That's
Then
insane.
then he shot his wife, who was on the porch. Then he went for Marie, and then the 2 boys who were trying to find hiding spots. And then lastly, Mary Lou, and then himself. Also, don't bury
Yeah,
that man with me.
that's
It
what I
said
thought
that
too.
it said what, the 6 victims and Charlie. No,
Yeah.
you better first of all, you better bury them. Don't even bury him. Don't even bury him. Who's visiting him?
If they knew that he killed his whole family, why would they put him in there with him?
No, do not put him beside my body or the bodies of my children. Are you crazy?
Unless they thought in the beginning that somebody else came and did it and they found out later.
I don't
But
think
if
so.
they found out in the beginning or even if when the son came back home and seen it, I would have been like, "You're not putting him in there with the rest of my family."
Yeah, no.
Like, throw him in the woods somewhere.
Not even in the same cemetery.
No.
No. Throw him flush his ass. First of all, cremate him and flush them ashes. I don't know if they had working flushing toilets then,
I don't know.
but he don't deserve no.
Mm-mm.
Matter of fact, don't even do that. Feed his ass to the wolves.
That's what I said, throw him in the woods somewhere.
Well, I'm assuming they knew it was him because the bodies were of the family were found with their arms crossed and rocks under their head.
Oh, yeah, like, who else would do that?
The gunshot signaling Lawson's own suicide was heard by many people who already had learned of the murders on the property and gathered there. He also left letters for his parents. You don't deserve to leave letters for your parents.
Yeah.
Also, footprints encircling the tree. It was sup- it was supposed that he had been pacing around the tree prior to taking his life. Why? You were thinking about whether not to do it? Cannot you irk me? But and it said that that theory of him having a brain injury, they donated his brain to John Hopkins, and there was no abnormalities. He had no brain injury. He just did
So
it.
he was psycho on his own,
Yes, yes. They were just like he got his eldest daughter pregnant,
and
and
he
he
tried to cover it by
but, I mean and listen, I'm not trying to give people, like, a get out or, like, a way to, get away with these crimes or anything like that, but my thing is, why not just kill Marie? Like, I don't know, she fell and, like, her neck snapped or some shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, why we gotta kill the whole family?
yeah, and there's
Like,
no reason to even, like, go after the youngest. There was no reason for that.
for the baby! She had n no,
Yeah.
she ugh. And then shortly after the murders, his brother Marion opened the home as a tourist attraction, and a cake that Marie had baked on Christmas Day was displayed on the tour.
That's
And
his brother?
people would pick at the raisins on the cake to take as souvenirs.
That's disgusting. But that was his brother that did that? Trying to make
Yes.
money off of a
Mhm.
tragedy?
Yep. And there are songs, The Murder of the Lawson Family, which originally recorded by the Carolina Buddies for Columbia Records in 1930 and covered by the Stanley Brothers in March 1956. They were led to rest in a private family graveyard. I wonder if that's why they were all buried together because it was
No
the
answer.
Lawson then don't no.
Mm-mm.
No.
He
Once
doesn't know.
once you've killed me, I'm no longer part of your family. If you wanna put Charlie in your family thing, by all means, go do that. You need to put us somewhere else, somewhere that's more sacred. I don't want this
Mhm.
evil energy in this man being buried beside me. That is crazy.
That's why they're haunting the house still.
Because 'cause they're mad. I'd be mad
Mhm.
too.
I'd be
Don't be
mad.
putting that man
I'd be
next to
mad.
me.
But now they're living this loop forever because they're stuck there.
He was a Freemason.
That means nothing.
Well, technically what they're saying is they put the Freemason symbol on his tombstone, but there's no actual evidence that he was actually part of the Freemasons. He was a member of the Junior Order of United American Mechanics, which uses the same symbol. Y'all get out of here. Now, the eldest son was killed in 1945 in a motor accident at age 35, leaving a wife and 4 children.
That's sad for him.
It is sad because it's like he still didn't, like, escape it.
Mhm.
Also, I wouldn't wanna be I'll be changing my last name,
Mhm. Definitely.
100%. I don't wanna be associated with you. I'll take my mother's last name.
Mhm.
I want nothing to do with you. There's a Netflix series called 28 Days Haunted. It shows the place where the victims were embalmed and describes what happened.
28 Days Haunted? I don't think I ever heard that.
3 teams spent 28 days in some of the most haunted locations in the United States for an experiment based on the theories of paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Okay, episode 3 is a Lawson Murders house.
The North Carolina team looks into the motive behind the Lawson murders.
I mean, we already told you what the motive is. We already
And it
figured it
says
out.
tensions arise within the Colorado and the Connecticut teams over differing methods. Anyway, that's sad. And all done by men, you know? We were talking about, like, in the last episode how they always, like, the wraiths and witches and everything are always women, and we're always the evil spirits, but we don't be deserving that title.
Mm-mm.
These men be crazy. They straight up demons, killing your whole fucking family to then kill yourself.
Mhm.
I just remembered he killed, like, why didn't you just start with you? I don't
Yeah.
get it. You know how many people be alive right now if you just started with yourself? So many.
Mhm.
I mean, they would have it rough because, back then, his wife probably wouldn't have been able to work or anything, so
Yeah.
the son would have had to take care of the whole family. And why is you popping out so many babies? First of all, you just had a 4-month-old
Because
baby, and then you get your
because
daughter pregnant?
if they're in a farm, they need all those people to help. That's why people had a lot of kids back then.
I know, 'cause it just said they lived in a homestead.
Yeah, so
I cannot. You know what? They're talking about, like, population and how, like, women are having less children and becoming more sterile. We're not becoming sterile. We just got better things to fucking do, okay?
that's true.
I got TV. I got a phone. I got
Jobs.
electronics.
Women
I'm
have
not sitting
jobs. They
here.
didn't have jobs back then unless just to take care of the house.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here on some homestead all day cooking and waiting for your ass to come home, and now I gotta deal with you.
Mhm.
Having, like, 7 children. That's why. There was nothing else to do. There was no sofa to sit on and watch TV. Watch a movie. Get on my nerves. I'm so mad. I am so mad. Stupid ass. Anyway, let me censor myself. Piss me off. All right, before we close out tonight's episode, let's pull a card and see what energy is lingering around us. The Three of Cups is a card of celebration, friendship, sisterhood, and creative collaborations. Your friends and family are here to support you and lift you up to even higher levels of success. Celebrate with them and enjoy their friendship. This card reminds me of the wonderful connection shared by the 4 female characters in Sex and the City: Carrie, Charlotte, Samantha, and Miranda. They stand by each other through thick and thin. They are always there for one another. And as they make their way through relationships, careers, and different lifestyles and journeys, nearly every episode shows them enjoying each other's company, often over a cosmopolitan at a swanky Manhattan restaurant. You get the feeling that these girls will be friends forever and know they can always count on each other for support and compassion. What's funny is, because I got you something else, originally for Christmas, because it's funny because it's actually still open on my screen. I was gonna get you a Three of Cups tarot necklace, but I couldn't find any that I liked.
Yeah, it's hard
It
finding,
is
like, a
hard.
nice one, like, there's so many different kinds.
Yeah, you're either way too cheap looking or way too expensive,
Mhm.
or it was like I felt like the images were too crowded,
Yeah.
and I was like, since Three of Cups is supposed to represent friendship, I was like, "That'd be so nice." But I got you something else instead.
Thanks.
So, that's a good one. I'm still waiting for last week's card to,
I mean, I did
appear.
that last night. Went out, the bar crawl with friends.
Yeah, we're not gonna do anything. Probably next weekend we'll do some stuff. Tony doesn't like the cold, so he wants to do, like, one of those drive-through Christmas lights things.
Mhm.
I'm like,
Just
"Alright,"
ooh and ah in the car.
basically. I was like, "Can we go to Krampus? We have a haunted Christmas house." I was like, "Can we
Mhm.
do that?
Yeah, right?
I wanna be scared." Well, I gotta start working out again, so I gotta get myself on a good schedule. I just hate working out alone. There's no motivation. I You know what it is? I need a goal.
Mhm.
So I was like, "Oh, your wedding's coming up, so that's gotta be my goal."
Well, your sister's wedding's coming up too, right?
Everything's so up in the air. So, my goal is your wedding. Or I don't know, should I say summer? What are we in? We're in December. Give me 5 months to get summer body ready.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's not, like, but honestly, that's not even motivation enough for me. I need, like, a real goal, and I just don't have one. I need a real goal, and I need to be held accountable. And then I have those accountability coaches, but my thing is, like, that doesn't keep me accountable only because, what, you're just gonna text me if I did it? I can be like, "Yeah, I
Mhm.
did it."
Exactly.
I need somebody to do it with me, and you're always busy, so we can't work
Listen,
out together no more.
I'm busy or I'm tired or just don't care. I'm like, "Fuck this shit, I'm gonna go take a nap instead."
A mess.
Okay, tonight's episode reminded us that Christmas isn't always a season of joy, it's also a season that remembers. Some memories stay human, like brutal acts that tore families apart, like Covina, because it's not like a haunting.
Some memories stay human, brutal acts that tore families apart, like Covina, the kind of story that leaves a scar instead of a ghost.
And some memories don't stay quiet. In Stokes County, the Lawson tragedy still stirs on cold December nights. Footsteps, whispering, humming, echoes of a Christmas that never ended.
Two stories, one made by human darkness, one followed by something colder, older, and harder to explain.
When winter comes, shadows stretch a little longer. And whether it's grief or something beyond us, some stories find their way back every December.
Thanks for joining us tonight on Shadow Keepers. And remember, stay vigilant, stay awake, stay aware of the shadows that follow. Because not all shadows are harmless.
Bye.
Bye. A high pitched bye. It gets me every freaking time, and I don't know why.